Hi everyone, Logan Greenberg with Sunrise Law Group here. Oftentimes we explain to a beneficiary of a Louisiana Trust what their basic rights are, but it's also important for a beneficiary to know that they have other options as well, depending on what their needs and circumstances are. And so while these things are not an automatic, I think it's important for people to know what are the options out there that might be in a judge's discretion that a beneficiary can take advantage of. And so the first one I always talk about is the law in Louisiana does allow a beneficiary to what's called invade principal if it's necessary for their health, education, maintenance, or support. And so what that means is if there's a trust where someone is entitled to $1 million, let's say, and they're not supposed to be paid that $1 million for another 10 years, but something is happening in their life where they have a terrible health problem, or they got accepted into an educational program, but they need tuition that's necessary for that. In that case, someone can petition a court to actually get them the principal in the trust that they're entitled to before the trust is supposed to pay it to them. Now, that's up to a judge's discretion. That's why these are options, not beneficiary rights. But it's certainly an option that a beneficiary is able to take advantage of if they are in that type of situation. Number two, if a beneficiary is not very trusting of what a trustee is doing, if they don't have a lot of confidence or if they're somewhat suspicious about what the trustee who's in charge of a trust is doing, they can actually ask the court to make the trustee furnish what we call security, or sometimes otherwise called a bond. What that entails is petitioning a court with whatever information you may have that's making you feel uncomfortable about the behavior of a trustee, and you can ask the court, hey, we want to compel this trustee to basically have to furnish security so I feel protected. And what that security would be is the trustee would literally have to put a certain amount of money, or would have to get a bond company to go put up a certain amount of money that's there and recoverable if there's any funny business or any kind of stealing or backdoor dealing. And so if you're a beneficiary and you're entitled to that same $1 million from example one, and you think the trustee may be about to steal it or may have already stolen something, you can actually petition the court and say, well, I want the trustee to furnish $1 million worth of security, so that way if they take something, I can go recover the security and I can be made whole again. Again, that's something that's in the discretion of a court, but it's certainly an option that someone has to ask for if they think it's necessary. And then the last one I think that's important but somewhat rare is trustee removal. And so basically if a trustee has done something that is dishonest or fraudulent, or is not following the rules of the trust in some way, or if they've just been negligent and mismanaged trust property in whatever way that may be, you can actually petition a court to remove the trustee and install a backup trustee in their place. Now that's somewhat rare because most people don't steal if they're the trustees. They've been given that position because they're a trusted person. But if you are uncomfortable about something a trustee has done, or if you believe they've actually done something very egregious, you have the right to go ask a court to remove them. So these are some basic options that are available to a beneficiary if they think something's going on where they're in that type of situation and these steps are necessary. We're certainly happy to talk to somebody and explain to them how the process works.